How to use business credit cards to buy real estate. I actually made a video about this before, but this is the updated version because I needed to give you this new information because I have been able to get more than $2 million in business credit. And there are some things that I learned in the process that I just had to share with you guys because there is just so much wrong information out there and I just had to set it straight for you. So let's go. So real estate investing has been life transformational for me. It has literally taken me where I was working a job, hated my life, literally actually in my parents' basement, to a multimillionaire with lots of properties, books, podcasts, everything that I do now. Real estate has literally changed my life, but it wasn't real estate, it was investing in real estate, okay? So the thing with real estate and where I really had it wrong, that I wanna make sure that you know the difference is, you must invest in real estate as an investor and not as a civilian. Real estate investors look at real estate very differently. We only care about if the real estate is going to make us money, how much profit there is, based on what we plan on doing with it. So when I first got into real estate, I thought that I had to own properties and that I had to have all these houses to make money in real estate. But I was so wrong. Literally, I had properties and lost all of them and ended back up in my parents' basement with no properties and bad credit. But in that basement is where I found someone that taught me that you do not need to own properties to make money off of them. He taught me a concept that I had never heard of before called wholesaling, where I would find people that had property problems. Either they were in foreclosure or bankruptcy or divorce or all these other situations. I would get those properties under contract and then I would flip those contracts to someone else for more money. This was completely legal, and I started picking up fees of $5,000, $10,000, and then I just scaled from there. And you could do the same thing. Once I started wholesaling, I then got into fixing and flipping. I would buy properties, again, using those same tactics that he taught me to find people with property problems. Instead of just signing the contract over to another investor, I started keeping those properties myself, getting a hard money loan, fixing them up, and then selling them for a profit. I then took that and then I turned it into rental properties, and the rest is history. I was able to quit my boring six-figure job and spend the life that I wanted, owning my time with my kids and my husband and doing what I wanted to do. Life was really good for me. But it wasn't until I added in the business credit that I was really able to scale my business. Like I said, I was doing the wholesaling, then I was doing the fixing and flipping. But around that time, I started learning about business credit, and people were telling me that you could get way more funds in your business's name. So I started applying for business credit. They were giving me business credit cards and lines of credit. I got a business checking account at different banks. I was going to different banks and opening up different business checking accounts, and they were all giving me business credit cards and business lines of credit, and I could turn those lines of credit into money. I could literally buy real estate with them, and I grew and blew my property portfolio up. I started making so much money that I was like, wow, let me teach other people what I'm doing. And that is the beginning of the story, not the end. So how I was able to use the business credit cards and turn them into real estate is I took those business credit cards. Like I said, I went to multiple banks. I got multiple business checking accounts at different banks. They all offered me business credit cards and business lines of credit. And I took those credit cards and lines of credit and I bought rental properties with them, okay? It was really just that simple. Many people say, well, how did you get cash from a credit card? Well, literally almost every credit card they gave me had a portion of it that I could take off as cash. The funny thing about it is I had been taught never, ever, ever take cash off of a credit card. That's what my parents had told me. That's what professors had told me. This was like this crazy thing that you were not supposed to do. But the millionaire that was investing in real estate that had tons of money, he told me you should do that. And the reason why you're usually told not to take the cash off the credit cards is because it hurts your credit score. For some reason, when you start using your credit cards on your personal credit, they usually lower your score because they're like, oh, this person's using their credit cards. Even if you just use them and you use 40% or 50% of the limit, they will lower your credit score. But the great thing about the business credit, when I would take cash off those credit cards, Nothing happened to my credit score, not even my business credit score. They didn't seem to care, and I could use that money to buy real estate. And again, so can you. The next new thing that I did to get even more business credit and even more business funds is I opened up a PayPal business account and I opened up a Square business account. And I would run a few transactions through there. And then literally after 3 months, both of those companies offered me over $100,000 in business funds that did not report on my personal credit. They only reported on my business credit, and they were in my business's name with no personal guarantee. That is how I got well over $2 million just by using different companies and setting up different business accounts with companies that would lend me money. Once I had all of the money, of course, I didn't just take it and buy one house. So even if I got, $100,000 from PayPal, I didn't just take that money and buy a house. I still used a mortgage, but now I had $100,000 as down payments or to furnish the properties. So instead of buying one house cash with $100,000, I still used a mortgage. In the business credit world, they didn't care that the down payment was borrowed. That just was not a big deal. But in the personal credit world, if you borrow your down payment, that is an absolute no-no. But with hard money loans and thinking like a real estate investor, it was totally above board. In fact, it was encouraged, and I was able to get way more properties than I ever would have been able to get using my personal credit in my personal name. So if you want to learn more and you feel like this is the beginning, I have an entire course that I created for free just for you. Please go to noelsfreetraining.com. It's an entire training that I made just for you that breaks down my exact formula for investing in real estate without losing money and without needing a lot of money. Go there, check it out. It's absolutely free for you. I just want to make sure that you are successful. This is Noel to your success.